1. What if the most dangerous person in your life isn't the one who hates you, but the one who pretends to adore you? 2. Have you ever had someone smile at you warmly, only to later wonder if there was something more behind that smile? 3. In a world full of filtered faces and polite facades, how do you know who's truly on your side, and who's plotting in silence? Let's set one thing straight from the beginning: the real danger isn't the person glaring at you from across the room. It's the one standing right beside you, smiling sweetly, laughing at your jokes, maybe even handing you your favorite coffee order, while secretly wishing you'd disappear from their world entirely. That may sound dramatic, maybe even a bit paranoid. But the harsh reality? Truth is often stranger, and far more chilling, than fiction. Right now, there could be someone in your life, someone you know, trust, or even like, who is quietly, methodically planning your downfall. And the worst part? You probably wouldn't suspect a thing. That's the twisted genius of it. Hatred is easy to recognize. It's loud. It's visible. But malicious intent that wears a smile, that hides behind charm, politeness, and Instagram-worthy friendliness? That's what slips through the cracks. And most people, good people, don't notice until they're already deep in the damage zone. But this video isn't about fueling paranoia. It's about survival. It's about awareness. You're about to uncover 5 unnerving yet often ignored signs that someone doesn't just dislike you, they want you gone. Not out of their life, gone. But permanently gone. These are not baseless suspicions or conspiracy theories. These are real behaviors, backed by psychological patterns, and understanding them could very well protect your safety, or someone else's. Before we go any deeper into this dark and unsettling truth, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, after this, you'll never look at friendliness the same way again. Let's dive into the first sign. And it starts not with shouting, not with threats, but with silence. Sign 1, the silent observer. This type isn't your casual online stalker or your overly nosy neighbor with too much time on their hands. This person is something else entirely. Something more deliberate. More calculated. More dangerous. They don't just watch you. They study you. They memorize your schedule. They monitor your habits. They analyze your routines with the kind of unsettling precision that feels less like curiosity and more like reconnaissance. Like they're preparing for something. Planning something. And the most disturbing part? They do it so quietly, so subtly, that you wouldn't even notice until it's too late. Think about it, someone knows your exact coffee order, even though you've never told them. They start showing up at your favorite park. Your gym. Your go-to grocery store. Always at the same time as you. Always, coincidentally, crossing paths. At first, it feels random. Harmless. Until it doesn't. Next, we'll uncover why your gut reaction, the one that tells you something's off, isn't paranoia at all, but a warning signal worth listening to. So what happens when those coincidences stop feeling so coincidental? That's when the alarm bells start ringing, but quietly, almost imperceptibly, just like the behavior itself. What makes this kind of threat so dangerous is that it rarely announces itself. It slips beneath your awareness, cloaked in routine and wrapped in subtlety. And because we've been taught to dismiss discomfort as paranoia, most of us hesitate. We second-guess our instincts. And that's exactly what predators count on. They don't need to scare you immediately. They just need you to doubt yourself. I once heard the story of Christine, a mid-level manager living a fairly ordinary life. She had broken up with her ex-boyfriend several months earlier. Things had ended without much drama. So when she started noticing him popping up at familiar spots. Her gym, the coffee shop she visited before work, even the new grocery store she'd recently switched to, she brushed it off. Maybe it was just awkward coincidence. Maybe he was just struggling to move on. But over time, a chilling pattern emerged. He wasn't just around. He always seemed to know where she'd be before she got there. Christine tried to shake the feeling, but it wouldn't go away. So she made changes. She picked a new gym. Took a different route to work. Changed her shopping habits. Yet no matter what she did, he reappeared. No confrontations. No obvious threats. Just quiet, persistent surveillance, like a shadow always one step behind her. Her friends shrugged it off. He's just obsessed, they said. It'll pass. But Christine's instincts told her something deeper was at play. And eventually, she understood the truth. This wasn't obsession, it was premeditation. This behavior wasn't about love. It wasn't about closure or longing. It was about control. The kind of cold, calculated control that removes uncertainty so a predator can make their move when the time is right. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned us never to assume that a calm appearance means safety. He taught that wisdom begins not just in watching others, but in fiercely protecting our own inner peace and sense of order. When that order is disrupted, especially by someone whose presence feels too frequent, too informed, it's not time to excuse. It's time to investigate. And in the modern world, surveillance no longer requires binoculars or a van parked down the street. It just takes access to your social media, your location tags, your public habits. Things we often give away without thinking. The most dangerous people are rarely the loudest ones. They're the ones who smile, nod, and quietly catalog your every move, all while you mistake their politeness for harmlessness. This isn't about living in fear. It's about learning discernment. As the Stoics taught, wisdom is born from clear perception, and completed through decisive action. So if someone keeps showing up in your life with no obvious reason, especially if you've never invited them in, don't call it coincidence. Call it what it is, a red flag. Observe the patterns. Question the timing. And most importantly, trust your instincts. That flutter of unease in your gut. It's not overthinking. It's insight. And when your soul feels unsettled, don't explain it away. Honor it. Now that you know how subtle threats can hide behind routine, it's time to uncover the second sign, one that doesn't just target you, but poisons the people around you. Let's turn the page to sign 2, the saboteur strategy. When threats don't come through confrontation, they often arrive in silence, through small, unnoticed actions. As we saw earlier, predators can study your every move without making a sound. But sometimes, the danger isn't in who watches you, it's in who whispers behind your back. That brings us to sign 2, the saboteur strategy, and this one, perhaps, is even more insidious. Here's a disturbing psychological truth. Studies show that even when a lie is eventually proven false, the damage it causes can linger. Just hearing something negative about someone, true or not, can leave a subtle, lasting impression. That's how powerful suggestion can be. And it's this exact force that makes the saboteur strategy so dangerous. When someone doesn't just want revenge, when they're not satisfied with simply hurting you, but instead want you isolated, vulnerable, and cut off, they don't go after just you. They target your entire support system. And they don't do it with dramatic outbursts or accusations. They do it quietly. Strategically. It's not gossip. It's character assassination. Executed with such calculated subtlety that by the time you realize what's happening, the damage has already sunk in deep. They move like shadows, striking at just the right moments. To your boss, they might hint that you've been unreliable lately. To your friends, they imply you've changed, that you're becoming difficult or even toxic. But they never say it outright. That would be too easy to challenge. Instead, they plant seeds, small suggestions. Doubt. Suspicion. Misunderstanding. And they do it just enough to cause discomfort, just enough to make people start second-guessing you. The genius of this manipulation. Each instance seems isolated. Each interaction appears unrelated. So no one connects the dots, not even you. Until, suddenly, everything begins falling apart. Your friendships grow tense. Your reputation slips. People start pulling away, and you can't quite explain why. That's the essence of the saboteur's strategy, calculated fragmentation. A slow unraveling of everything that holds you together. These individuals aren't acting out of impulse. They're not emotional. They're methodical. They orchestrate conflict in your world to make you appear unstable. They pull strings from behind the curtain, ensuring that your image crumbles in both your professional and personal life. And here's the terrifying part, they often present themselves as the victim. Or worse, as the concerned friend who just wants to help. All while quietly unraveling the trust others have in you. Their goal isn't just to smear your name. It's to cut you off from your lifelines, so that when they strike with full force, you'll be left standing alone, with no one left to defend you. Through a Stoic lens, this tactic is especially dangerous because it attacks something deeply sacred, your inner clarity. Your strength. Your stability. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But when a saboteur is manipulating the situation, the obstacle doesn't strengthen you. It becomes a toxic fog. One that clouds your thinking, drains your energy, and sends you spiraling into defense mode. And that's the trap. You begin reacting instead of reflecting. You waste time trying to prove your innocence, explain your behavior, or clear your name, only to realize the more you speak, the more suspicious you seem. You fall right into the script they've written for you. Up next, we'll explore how to avoid that trap, and what wisdom the Stoics offer when deception wears the mask of friendship. Let's continue with sign 3, the false friend facade. When your name is under quiet attack, your best weapon isn't panic, it's clarity. As we just explored, when someone tries to sabotage you from the shadows, reacting impulsively only strengthens their hand. So how do you respond? With strategy. That's why awareness must be your first line of defense. Don't waste your energy chasing every rumor, or trying to explain yourself to every doubter. Instead, root yourself in truth and evidence. Keep your integrity intact, but also protect yourself intentionally. Document everything, emails, messages, timelines, conversations. Be prepared. Stay grounded. And above all, be selective about who enters your circle. Most importantly, remember what both Stoic philosophy and scripture have always emphasized: character reveals itself over time, not in moments of chaos. Yes, people may be misled for a while. Yes, lies might travel fast. But truth, like the soul, endures. So if someone in your life always seems to be near your problems, but never fully part of them, always watching, never blamed, it's time to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. You're not just facing a manipulator. You're confronting a strategist of destruction. And the first way to win that kind of battle? Don't play their game. Now we arrive at sign 3. The false friend facade, where things take a deeply unsettling turn. This is one of the oldest and most deceptive tactics in human history, and yet it remains one of the hardest to detect. Why? Because it hides behind the very things we're taught to celebrate: kindness, warmth, and closeness. We've been conditioned to believe that anyone showing interest in us must be a friend. That anyone kind must be loyal. So when someone you barely know suddenly goes from casual acquaintance to intensely invested, without any shared history or reason, we don't question it. We feel flattered. Grateful. Seen. But don't celebrate too soon. Pay attention instead. These individuals aren't trying to earn your trust. They're trying to gain access. What looks like concern is often a performance, carefully crafted and rehearsed. They begin asking personal, detailed questions, about your schedule, your relationships, your fears, even past wounds and traumas. But it's not because they want to help you heal. It's because they're building a profile. They start getting close to your family. They show up at your workplace. They offer to run errands or help manage your personal affairs. On the surface, it feels like support. But their real motive is surveillance. Every secret you share becomes another tool. Another point of leverage. Another soft spot they now have access to. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Because at first, it feels good. Someone is finally paying attention. They want to listen. To understand. To help. And in a world where most people are too distracted to care, that kind of focused attention feels like love. But behind that comforting presence is something far colder, a strategic mind, mapping your life with the precision of a surgeon. They're not building a friendship. They're designing the most efficient route to your vulnerabilities. When trust is weaponized, it doesn't just leave you exposed, it invites danger right through the front door. As we just saw, the false friend doesn't seek connection. They seek control. And once they gain access, what often follows is a chilling shift, the beginning of something far more dangerous. From a Stoic perspective, this is especially unsettling. Seneca once said, "A friend is someone you trust with your soul." But he was quick to warn, trust must be earned, not handed out to anyone who simply smiles, nods, and listens well. The Stoics believed in discernment, in practicing moderation and restraint as a form of emotional self-defense. So if someone enters your life with intense interest, too quickly, too personally, too persistently, you must pause and ask, why now? What do they really want? It's all too easy to confuse shared vulnerability with genuine intimacy. But predators know that too. They're skilled at mirroring your language, echoing your emotions, even sprinkling in their own stories of pain or struggle, just enough to drop your guard. Meanwhile, they're quietly collecting your secrets like a spy building a detailed target profile. And the danger? They do it all under the mask of charm. Empathy. Warmth. No one suspects them. Not your friends. Not your coworkers. Not even you, until the damage has already been done. So what can you do? Slow things down. Guard your privacy like your peace depends on it, because it does. Ask yourself, why is this person suddenly interested in parts of your life they've never touched before? Why now? Why this much? Real friendship takes time to build. But sabotage? It thrives in speed. And remember, trust isn't just about who makes you feel safe in the moment. It's about who keeps you safe when you're most vulnerable. When your back is turned. A false friend doesn't just crave your attention, they crave your vulnerabilities. Your fears. Your unspoken wounds. Because once they collect enough of them, they'll know exactly where and when to strike. So yes, be kind. Be warm. But also, be wise. Because when danger wears a smile and speaks like a friend, it's not connection you're building. It's camouflage. Now, we move into even darker territory. Some people don't manipulate with words, they manipulate with escalation. The next sign is one of the most horrifyingly overlooked of all. Let's uncover sign 4, escalating aggression. When manipulation turns physical, the danger is no longer just psychological, it becomes tangible. As we just saw, calculated escalation doesn't always scream, sometimes it whispers through body language, proximity, and dark humor that masks intent. And for Leah, those whispers quickly became impossible to ignore. It started at a small cookout held in the building's courtyard. Harmless enough. But then Adam, her quiet, awkward neighbor, made a bizarre comment. He joked, with a casual grin, that he'd make the perfect killer because he knew exactly how to get rid of evidence. The people around him laughed. Even Leah forced a nervous smile, though the remark unsettled her deeply. Still, she brushed it off. Just a weird joke, right? But from that moment on, things began to change. Adam started appearing more frequently, and more deliberately, in Leah's personal space. He would show up in the hallway at the precise time she was leaving for work, brushing past her shoulder without so much as an apology. It was subtle at first. But soon, the closeness became too much to dismiss. One afternoon, he stood directly in front of her apartment door, blocking her path under the vague excuse of needing to talk. No details. No urgency. Just an unmistakable invasion of space. Then came the moment that shattered any remaining doubt. One evening, Leah came home to find a large hunting knife laid neatly across her doormat. No message. No note. No context. Just the blade, sitting there in plain sight like a warning she hadn't asked for. She reported it immediately. But the authorities initially brushed it off as a prank. Maybe someone with a sick sense of humor. But Leah knew better. Her instincts were screaming. So she took matters into her own hands. She installed a security camera outside her door. She changed her locks. And she began carefully documenting every single interaction with Adam, times, dates, strange behavior. Within just a month, her efforts paid off. Her security footage captured Adam at 2 a.m., attempting to pick her lock while wearing gloves and carrying what appeared to be a black duffel bag. He was arrested. The investigation that followed revealed a nightmare, a detailed journal in Adam's possession that outlined Leah's daily movements, her favorite hangout spots, and, most chilling of all, a section labeled, execution window. This is the part that many people don't understand about violence: it doesn't always begin violently. Dangerous individuals often test the limits through small, seemingly harmless behaviors. A joke that's just dark humor. A touch that feels accidental. A presence that becomes too frequent to explain away. These aren't random moments. They're part of a calculated psychological script, designed to desensitize you. To chip away at your boundaries before the real threat reveals itself. The Stoics warned us of this very thing. They didn't teach us to fear evil, but to anticipate it with clarity. Seneca once wrote, "He who is forewarned is forearmed." So if someone repeatedly crosses the line and then laughs it off, if their jokes are laced with violent undertones, if they steadily encroach on your physical space, if they seem more interested in studying your reactions than connecting with your humanity, that's not a personality quirk. That's a red flag. And ignoring it? It might cost you far more than your peace of mind. It could cost you your life. Now, we come to the fifth and final sign, and without question, the most chilling of them all. This isn't the enemy who lashes out in anger. This is the one who waits. Watches. Plans. Let's turn to sign 5, the patient predator. Some threats explode in an instant. But others? They take their time. As we just uncovered, the most terrifying danger isn't always loud or obvious, it's the kind that waits quietly, patiently, behind the curtain. This brings us to the coldest kind of enemy, the patient predator. This isn't someone who lashes out in a fit of rage. They don't send warning texts or yell in public. No, their weapon isn't violence, it's patience. These individuals don't crave fast revenge or impulsive power plays. They follow a strategy that the Stoics would recognize as the long game, a deliberate, deeply calculated approach where every move is subtle, rehearsed, and precisely timed. They can wait. Weeks. Months. Even years. And by the time they act, most people have already relaxed their guard completely. What makes them truly terrifying isn't what they do, it's how normal they seem. They don't trigger red flags. Instead, they build trust. Slowly. Carefully. They ask about your future, not out of concern, but out of strategy. When will you be traveling? When are you moving? When will you be home alone? To you, it might seem like casual small talk. But to them? Every conversation is a form of data collection. Every favor they offer, every moment of helpfulness, it's all part of a masterful setup. A false sense of safety. They might be your friendly neighbor who waters your plants while you're away. The coworker who always remembers your birthday. The friend who checks in just a little too often. But behind that calm, reliable exterior lies a rehearsed betrayal, waiting for the perfect moment to unfold. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once warned that our greatest danger isn't what's obvious, it's what we overlook while assuming the world plays fair. He said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. But when you're dealing with someone who wears a perfect mask, even that clarity becomes difficult. Because their entire life is a performance. Their warmth? It's not real. It's bait. And the most chilling part? These people rarely make mistakes. They don't need to. They're simply waiting for you to make one. They bide their time until your routine slips, until your support system thins out, until your guard is down just enough. That's when they strike. And because you trusted them, because you let them in, you never see it coming. So what can you do? Be slow with trust. Especially when someone pushes for closeness too quickly or too intensely without a clear reason. Guard your boundaries. Protect your personal plans. Be kind, but never confuse kindness with unrestricted access. The Stoic in you must remain awake. Not just when things feel wrong, but even more so when everything feels too right. Because sometimes, peace is the stage they use to prepare the blow. And now, we need to confront something even harder. If any of these 5 signs, the silent observer, the saboteur, the false friend, the escalating aggressor, or the patient predator, have brought someone to mind, don't ignore it. Don't convince yourself you're overthinking. If even one of those signs made you think of someone in your life, don't dismiss it. Because as we've just uncovered, the most dangerous people are rarely obvious. And if your instincts have started whispering, maybe they've been trying to warn you all along. You could very well be standing in the crosshairs of something far darker than simple dislike. So before this video ends, I want you to do 2 things. First, save this video. Bookmark it. Come back to it the next time your gut tells you something's off. These signs are easy to forget when you're swept up in day-to-day distractions, but when that feeling creeps back in, you'll want this list close. Second, watch the next video on how to spot covert narcissists. Because these 5 chilling tactics, they often walk hand in hand with deeply manipulative personalities, people who twist love, loyalty, and vulnerability into weapons. Remember, knowledge is your first shield, but it's not enough on its own. It's action, intentional, clear-headed action, that keeps you safe. So stay sharp. Stay grounded. And above all else, stay alive. Let's be honest, if your intuition has been nudging you with that subtle discomfort, this video probably gave you the confirmation you didn't want. But absolutely needed. These 5 signs aren't just some dramatic checklist for entertainment. They're survival signals. Warnings. Reality checks. Because a person who just hates you, they'll roll their eyes. Maybe talk behind your back. But a person who wants you gone, they'll study you. Sabotage you. Smile while hiding a knife. Escalate the threat. And worst of all, they'll wait. That's not petty. That's predatory. So if one smiling, harmless person came to mind while you were watching this, don't explain it away. Don't silence your gut. That instinct is there for a reason. It's trying to protect you. There's an old saying, the devil doesn't come dressed in horns. He comes wrapped in everything you ever wanted to trust. So, if this hit uncomfortably close to home, here's what to do. Subscribe to this channel, so you'll always be one step ahead. Share this video with someone who might be in the dark. Because what you've just learned could literally protect someone's life. And sharing it? That might save someone else's. Stay sharp. Stay safe. And always remember, it's not paranoia if they're actually planning your downfall. Trust wisely. And I'll see you in the next one.